So yesterday we discussed about the so transport TMS configurations, right? How to perform the TMS configuration. As part of this TMS configuration, we discussed about the domain controller creation, how to add the systems into domain controller. So all these things we discussed yesterday, right? So today we'll discuss about the today one more part in the TMS. So we have the three parts actually. One is the TMS configurations, right? And the second one is the creation of change request, creation of transport request, creation of transport request. The third one, importing the importing the importing the transport. These are the three types of requests are there. Three types of requests are there in the systems. Three types of requests are there in the systems, right? So here the first one which we are going to discuss about the transport request. Transport request we are discussing, right? So transport request. So how to, what is mean by, first of all, what is mean by transport request, right? So for the transport request means, before I go for the transport request, you guys know, right, how to create the TMS configurations, routes, layers, all these things. Any questions from anyone? Is it clear, right?
Um,
Domain
Hello.
controller configurations, setting up domain controller, transport routes, transport layers, configurations.
Hello.
Yes.
Uh, can we create the multiple transport layers and multiple transport groups?
Groups and us we can create it, layer and also uh, layer, yeah, multiple we can create it, one system, so multiple, right, you want to say?
Yeah, yeah. You, for example, in development, I'm having the three clients. Quality, I'm having two
Yeah, yeah,
clients.
each client you can create the layers. Yeah, that's we can
Uh,
create it, each client we can create the one route to the we can create it.
can we do it current system what we are using?
Yes, we can do it. So have not you tried, have you
Still,
tried
I
this
have
one, first of
not
all?
tried.
Okay, you have to try first. Okay, so maybe we can create it. So yeah, no, not available. So we have to log into the transport domain controller. So then 000 client, any one of the user, go to HTMS. Here you can create it. But do we have systems here in SCC4? Yes, we have the systems in the clients. Okay. Okay, we have the clients are created here. Then let's try. Oh, yeah, reverse route is they have mentioned. So reverse route. So quality is our production and production is the development, something like that. Reverse route is mentioned. You can see here, reverse route. In this case, so we can mention the one transport layer, one custom layer, we can mention it. So the client specific, yes, is not has no transport route with the transport layer. So client, we can mention it. So what is the client here? So suppose 300 client. So route, we can define it. Like that, we can create the inventory. We can create the one more client. Suppose like 100. The layers. So layers also multiple layers we can define it. So we can here we need to add the client specific settings. So first of all, we'll remove the reverse order it is configured. So that is the reason reversely it
Yes,
is configured.
it should be QAS first.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I will try it. No, I will try
Yeah.
and I will.
Yeah. Let me delete this one. Yeah, let me try to create the group. No transport no QoS.
I think you need to select the quality system.
Quality to here. So we can create one custom layer also. We can create it here. 200 is not found. Okay. Here we have to create one group. I guess something we have to create it here. Import targets, target clients. So target source. This is the import targets. Then let me check that one.
Okay. I think in system overview itself we have that option.
Here we have to create the one group. We have to create it. Maybe it's not created or something is deleted. I guess here. Systems we have update configurations.
Transport groups.
Groups we have to create it. So here we have the groups are there. So production group system is active. So group is there. Domain name is for SID. Group is there here. So okay, I will check end of the class. Class will be disturbed, that, so I will check end of the class. Here configuration, I need to check the configuration whether we created correctly or not. So I think we have the 100 client. Okay, QA is 100 client. That is fine. We have the two systems. So quality and production, two systems are there. So now let's start discussing the second part, creation of the transport request, right? So this is for the creation of the transport request. So it's not like basis work, but here some cases we need to create the some request, we have to create it. That is called the change request, we have to create it. So in this case, we need to go to the SE01. SE01, we have to create the SE01 or SE09 or SE10. So these three are the transaction codes for the creation of the transport request. For creation of the transport request, we have to use this one. These three transaction codes, we have to use it for creation of the transport request or workbench request. So we have the types of requests are there. Transport request means, so the objects, so we can create the one request. That request is called the change request. In that request, we can add the transports, we can add the object, sorry, we can add the object. That objects we have to release it, then we have to import it, right? So there is a navigation to move the data. Now configuration we have created, the basic configuration we have created, right? So then how to create the request? Then request we have to create it. Request creation, transport request creation, then the TR release, that is called the TR, then TR release, we have to do that one. Then so TR import, TR import. This is the sequence of activities. So here the basis person has to do the import of the transport request here. So remaining transport owner, TR owner, maybe functional, so functional team or developers. So who will do the TR creations, means development activities. So they will do they are the TR owners, right? So they will they will release the TR and they will ask basis team to import it. Here our work comes, importing the transport request. Here our work comes. So this is the flow of the TR movement from your development creations to and importing the transport request here, importing the transport request here. So as usual, here the creation we have to do it in the SE01, SE01, transport request creation, right? Transport request creation. So here SE01 is the transaction code. We can create the all the transport request and everything. So let me go to the system. Here you can see I'm in the main client, so I'm in the system. You can see the here. So here creation of the configuration. Here you can see creation. So here we have the types of requests are this: customization request and workbench request. Then we have so transport of copies and relocations. So the transport of copies we will use in the during the refresh time. During the refresh, we need to take the some configurations backup. So that time we have to use this transport of copies, and relocation of the objects means you want to change the object location from development to quality or quality. Some that times we can use it. Rare cases we will use these relocations and transport of copies during the refresh time. Normally, generally usage purpose, you will use this request types is called the customization request and workbench request. Customization and so workbench request we will use it here. So customizing and workbench request in we will use here in the so transport request, right? So here you can see here. So just click on the create button. Create button. This is so if anyone confusing, just ignore it for now. Why? Because this is the creation of the transport. This is the creation of the transport request here. Transport request here. So the creation actually it's not our duty. So to creation of the transport request and everything, it's like it will be so our developers or functional team members they will create the so transport request. They will create the transport request here, right? So just click on the customization. Customization means the client specific. That means only specific to the landscape. The customization means the configuration settings to the customization structures, some like implement tables. Those are the client specific, the client specific data, the client specific data. So each client, so in the system, normally, first of all, before I go with the customization or workbench request, the client of, we have the types of data are available in the each client. Each client, so there is some types of data are available. So, right, so in the system, we have the types of data. One is the user master data. So, yes, we have the user master data is available. That is the client specific data, right? And also we have the client independent data, and application specific data also available. The specific application data available here. So each client we have the three types of data are available here. Three types of data are available here. So one is the application data. Application data. So application data means all the application tables and master data, two type master data and transactional data are available in the application data. So master data and transactional data are available in the so here in the application data. In the application data, so master data and transactional data and transactional users will do the transactions, right? So those transactional data available here. Next one, here we have the client independent. Independent data means contains the configuration settings. That is like client dependent related. So this is the client dependent. So client dependent data, which means some configurations, client specific settings. So all are either available the client specific settings. So this is the master data and the transactional data. So the next one is the user master data. So user master data, that is called the UMR. So UMR means each client there is a specific UMR is there, means user logon information. Every client we need separate user ID and password. Why? Because so it's like client dependent data. So every client we have the this data is available here. So the master data is there, right? That is applicable for the all the tables. The so this is applicable for the master data and the transactional data. So it is applicable for the all the clients. Only the client dependent configurations, UMR. So this both every system, every client, we have these data are available, right? So every time, so this is the data are available in the systems. So depends upon the settings. So you can change it or you can close it, whatever it may be. We can do it here in the we can make client settings. Whenever we are creating the client settings, we have the option, right? Client creations, client after the client specific settings changes. In SEC4, we can see the settings. Same way here. So you can see same way. If you close the settings, you cannot do any changes in the system. If you open the settings, client settings, then you can do some changes in the master data or in the transactional data or client dependent data or in the UMR. So you can do some settings, you can do the changes here. So that is the secondary. So now let's talk about the transport creation of the transport request here. So customization data or workbench data. Workbench data means it is applicable for the all the clients, all the systems. Client customization means only specific client it is applicable, specific client. So specific client it is applicable. So most of the time workbench request developers or functionals, they will create the suppose about a customization request means local request within the system only it is applicable. When you are doing the testing, you don't want to move those changes to your target system, it means production system, then you can use the customization. Workbench request means so you can move that changes to that object changes to your target system also, you can move the changes. That is called the workbench request. Let's go, just click on the create button. Here it is asking the description. What is the description of the change you are going to create it? Suppose what I can say here, maybe I can put like logical system changes, changes in the system. Okay. So here you can see the target is selected automatically, the target selected. Just click on the save button. Then the request is created, right? You can see the request is created. Here it is in the modifiable status. The request is created. So it is in the modifiable status. So modifiable status means still the request is not released. The request is not released here. So you can see the 05 and 06, two requests are created. So what does it mean? This is a main request. This is a subtask. This is the main request. This is the subtask. The transport request naming convention, if you observe it, the TR naming convention is SID K9, SID K9 and number of 5 digits number will be created. This is the naming convention of the transport request. This is the naming convention of the transport request. SID K9 and number will be created, right? That is the transport request in the SAP. Okay. So suppose your SID is the QAS K9, maybe 0000, first request will be 001, then second request 002, like that it will create the, so like that it will create the transport request, like that it will create the transport request in the systems. Okay, like that it will create the transport request in the systems. Okay, so here you can see here same way you can see the QAS K9 0005 and 6, two requests are created. This is the sub request, this is the main request. So you want to add the object, request is created now, one request is created. To move the object, suppose example, to move your courier from one place to another place, you need one truck, right? One parcel, one truck, one cover you required, right? So here also to move the objects from one place to another system, another client, then you need the one request is required. That request is called the transport request. Using this transport request, we can save the objects, then we can move to your respective target systems, we can move it. So that is the changes we can perform it, right? So if you double click on this one, then you will get the objects list, which objects you are going to move it, which objects you want to move to the target system. So here there is a syntax we have to apply it here. So see here, if you just click on the browse button, here what is the objects you want to move, the full objects, you want to move the language specific components, normally we will use the full objects, we want to move it. So what is the object name you want to move it? So is it table, is it object, entry, is it package? So what is that? Is it table? What is that? What you want to move it here? What you want to move the, so here entry, which objects, which one you want to move it? So all the information is available here. So what object, what type of data you want to, suppose like what type of data you want to move to your respective target system. So that data you need to choose it here, right? It's very confusing which one we have to choose it. But here for the tables, normally we will move the tables, right? Tables, there is a TABU is the taboo is the that object name, we have to choose it. What is the object name here? Suppose I want to move the table name is called the TBDLS, the logical system related information. So here click on the go to the key. Here all the entries I want to move it. Then just click on the star button. Why? Because all the table entries moved to the here from one system to another system. It will be moved it here. So before that, let me check what are the table entries are there here in the quality system. You can see here the table entries TBDLS, right? You can see the go to the table entries TBDLS, you know, right? It's like a logical system. Here you can see the some QAS entries and some NWD entries and the production entries we have here. So total, so in how many entries we have? So total 6 entries we have, right? 6 entries we have in the systems. Let me log into the production system. So before I move the changes, how many entries are there here? How many entries are there here? So let me log in here. Let me check here, right? So if you go to the here, so go to BD54 for the logical systems, right? Here we can see the logical systems. How many are there? Here lot of are there. Lot of logical systems are there. Here number of logical systems are there. So when I move this one, 22 are there. 22 are there. So in this there we have the how many are there? Only 5 are there. Only 5 are there. If I move the changes, so that will be override. That will be override. So let me see here. So this 5 are there. There we have the 22 are there, right? 22 are there. Total 22 are logical systems are there. So I want to move the changes. I cannot directly do any changes in the production. But because I want to move through transport request only, I want to move the changes here. So then TBDLS I have created. Click on the save button, right? Changes are made here. Then go back. So your objects are created. See here, objects are created here. So the table entry you added to the here. The table entry you added to the here. Then select the request. Now you done. You added the object. One data you want to move. One table data you want to move to the your respective quality systems. Sorry, your respective production system you want to move it, right? One table data you want to move to the respective quality production system data. So that table, this is the table. You cannot do any changes in the production now. Why? Because that production is the closed. So you cannot do any changes. That is the production. Direct changes are not allowed in the production systems. Anything you want to do the changes in the quality or development, then changes have to be moved to the your production system. You have to move it. Okay. So changes done, the table changes this done. Now you want to move it. Then how? Then select the request, release it. You have to release it. Then the request is released here. The request will be released here. See here, the request is released now. So without releasing, the request is released here. When the request is released, here in the trans directory, you have the USR, SAP, the trans directory. This is the transport related directory, right? When it is the during the configuration, the bin folder will be updated here. And so when you are release the transport request here, the co-files, today you created the 1005 request is created. So each transport request, each TR will split into the two files actually. One is the co-files and data files. Co-file starts with the K9, right? Data file starts with the R9. Each TR will split into the two files, co-files and data files here. K9 and R9. Okay, date, not a data file, data field here, data. So here co-files means control file. So it will control the entire transport request. Data file means actual data contains in this file. Actual data contains in this file. So actual TR, suppose this is a QAS Q9, this is the transport request. First you created, whenever you release the transport request, so there are the two files will be generated. There are the two files will be generated into the operating system level. That is the co-files and data files will be created. So if the TR is released means these two files will be created. The TR is not released means these two files will not be created. So without releasing the TR, you cannot import it. You cannot skip the step here. Releasing the step, step you cannot TR creation. Sometimes your developers, they will create the transport request, then they will not release, then they will ask you to import it, then the transport request is not available in the import buffer, that is not available here. Why? Because they have not released it. So sometimes this may occur. Then in this case, you need to check it is the modifiable status or it is in the released status. So it is a modifiable or released status. If it is released, so then you can see the released status. Previously it was so modifiable. Modifiable means so they have not released it. It's not ready to move to the your production system. So right, that is the reason you can see here. So these are the, so you can see now it is released. Previously it was modifiable. Modifiable means so they cannot so import it. First of all, they have to release it. Then we have to import it. When they release the TR transport request, the request will split into the two files. One is the co file and the second one is the data file. So here in the data file, it will store into the USR SAP trans data, and co file will store into the USR SAP co files. It will store into the co files. Co files, it will store the data. So this way, your transport request, if the co files data files are generated, then your TR is released, ready to import now. Now you got the TR is released. Now go to the production system. Now here our duty, our work is comes to the here. Then they will request basis team to import it here. Here actual our work comes here, importing the transport request into the your production 100 client. Then we have to log into the production system, click on the HTMS, then go to the truck symbol, import overview. So which system you have to import it? PRD. Then just refresh it here. When you refresh it, the request comes to the here. Here it will show how many requests are waiting for the imports. How many requests are there in the buffers import history, that will be showed here. Here one request. See here one request which we created now. You double click on this one, then your request will be opened here. See here. Here we have the one request which we created now, right? That is called the logical system changes, something like that. We created the one request. Now we want to import that request. Now we want to import that request now. How to import it? Go to the request to continue to here. You can see. So whenever TR creation, release, import, we have to perform it here, right? Whenever you release the TR, it will come to the split into the two files. Then we can import into the respective target system. To import to the respective target system, you can see here. Here you have to go to the import queue. Which system you want to go for? So in the quality you created, you want to import to the production. Then you have to go to the production and select the transport request. Click on the import request. Here two types of trucks are there here. One is the semi-loaded truck and full loaded truck. Full loaded truck means it's importing the all the transport requests which are there in the your queue. This is very dangerous option, which means all the requests will be imported. I don't want to all the requests should be imported. So I want to only one request. Then you can select the import. Suppose if the symbol is not there here, you can go to the here request, click on the import button. Then here which client production, which client you want to import it. Suppose like 100 client. I selected the 100 client. So here you can see here. So here option, you want to import the request immediately, then you can select it. No, you want to schedule it, maybe after 1 hour, after 2 hours, you can schedule it. So you want to import the request immediately, right? You can choose the immediately. So here execution. Here we have to import request. We can perform two types, like asynchronous mode and synchronous mode. So which means asynchronous means so the import is executed while importing the transport request. Here what happens in the back end, one job will be triggered. The job is required, the one background work process. So that is the here. So when you are doing the asynchronous mode here, the dialog or background process is released after the import is started. So but if you select the synchronous mode here, so the background process is blocked until import has ended. Suppose example, if you see, so synchronous mode. right? Normally everyone will choose this default mode, asynchronous mode. Then options, transport options here. You can see the options. So you can see here. So here you have the option when you are importing the objects into your target system. Target system is the PRD and the client is the 100 client. That request is this one. The request is like container box. So the request is container box. The how in our container we will store our things and we will move to the different place. Here also in the TR container, the TR is like container. In that container, we will store our objects. We will keep our objects. Then in that container, if you move that container, that object also will move to some other system to another system, right? That is the purpose we are creating the transport request. It's kind of the container, right? The kind of the container in the systems, right? So each TR contains some jobs, maybe some changes, tasks. It will be so each transport request, any data, we can keep it in the container. So how in our home, in the container, how can we keep anything? We can keep it, right? Same also here also we can keep any change, any request, we can keep it here, right? So the naming convention also, SID K9, 9 is the number, we can keep it. Then, so we can move it. That is the number, right? So the task also will be created here, right? So that is the one here. So now you can see the import options when you are doing the import options here. So we have to options are there. Leave the transport request in the queue. So that we can by default option is selected. You want to import the request again. Now you imported again, tomorrow you want to import it again next time, then you can choose this one. You want to override the originals. So already some data exists in the system. So you want to override that originals. If you want, you can select that one. So like that, we have the options are there here. You want to proceed the relationships. You want to skip the invalid component versions, anything. So as per the standards, you want to select anything. You can choose it here. You can choose it here. Depends upon your company. Follow the options, import options. You can choose whatever you want. You can choose all these options. Click on the import button. Then transport request import into the production client here, right? The transport request is importing to the production client here. You can see here the truck symbol is running now, import is running now. So this is the TR import is running now. Just click on the refresh button. Now you will see so nothing is there. So what happened now? So now we can see the RC written code here. We will identify whether the TR is successfully imported to production or not by seeing the written code. So here you can see the written codes here, written code 0, which means here in the SAP, we have the 4 types of written codes are available here, right? As of now, you can see the written code 0 means successfully imported. Written code 0 means successfully imported. Then written code 4 means successfully imported with warning, successfully imported with warnings, means 0 or 4 we can ignore it. Then whenever the request comes to 8 request number comes to the 8, maybe some issues with the one or more objects, issues with the objects, your object means the data which you are moving, that is not in the correct format, or it is having the syntax error, that is already logged, some issues with the systems, right? When the written code 12, maybe system issues, transport ended with the written code 8, we call the system issues. Now let's see the TR is moved now. You can see the written code 0, which means now we'll verify the TR is moved to the logical system entries here. Go to the SC16 to verify the table entry here. So how many entries, whether it is overwritten to the previous request or not. See here, it's overridden the previous request. It's overridden the previous request. Means previously in the production, we have 22 entries, some many entries are there now. So that entries are overridden now. Overridden means that entries are gone now, right? Gone, and we got the So same production entries you got it now in the systems. Same quality entries you got it in the source entries you got in the system. See here, we are in the production, in the table, you have the 6 entries, right? If you go to the, so if you go to the quality, same system, then here you have the 6 entries here. 6 entries means data is overridden. Data is overridden in the systems. Data is overridden in the systems. So it should not happen. If you select it, it will be insert the entry. It should not happen here, right? So this is the way. So let's do one more record, one more changes in the systems, right? Go to the SE01. So normally the creation is not our scope, but sometimes we may have to create it here. So that is, you have to carefully, you have to take care of that one, right? So here you can see, while creating this one, click on the create button. You have the option customization request and workbench request, right? So customization request and workbench request. So what is mean by customization request? That, as I mentioned, client specific changes. As per the client changes, so these requests are automatically recorded, means client specific, only client related, means one user you want to move, that is the customization. Only the client specific, some users, some customization settings. So that is the client specific, so that you can select it. So your request is not client specific, your request is for the, so all the clients, all the system, that you can take it the workbench request. Workbench request is contains the cross client changes or repository changes. All this will comes under the, so workbench request. Here, suppose you can create either customization or workbench. Your change is for the only the client specific, then you can choose this one. Your request is for, so all the clients, entire repository, your repository changes, then you can choose this workbench request. Any client you can move it here. Then you can create the one more transport request, you can create it. Text one, you can create it. Then you don't need to add the entry also. So it's like, normally we have to add the objects, but when you are practicing, you don't need to add anything here. If you want to add the objects, you can add it. Just click on the release button. Just empty request we are changing, we are moving here, testing here. See here, it is exported. See here, when it is exported, you can see here, it is released now, it is exported. So then 007, right? When you go to the here one more request is created, 007, right? 4 files and data files are created. 007 is created now, right? Go to the target system. So your production system, go to the production system. So then you can move the TR, go to the STMS, then click on the run truck overview, production. Then you can see the 007, nothing is there yet. Just click on the refresh button. Then it will come the one more request, it will come to the here. So that you can import the transport request here. You can import the transport request to the here, right? See here, one more request came to the here. Then select this one, just click on the import request. If you choose this one, all will be imported. The mass request is imported. Then in this case, you should not select this one. In this case, you should not select it here. So then we can remove this truck symbol also. There is some parameters, configuration parameters, that I will explain it now. Later I will explain it. Why? Because now you will confuse it if I explain it everything in the one shot. Select this one, click on the semi-loaded truck symbol, then which client you want to import it. Maybe 123 client, then select it. So which mode? Asynchronous mode or synchronous mode? Synchronous mode is the best preferred method. Why? Because once the import is started, immediately your background process is released. Means background process released empty. So it will be waiting status. When you select this one, your background process is blocked until import is finished. It is blocked here. So it should not be blocked, right? Why? Because one resource is already fully occupied to the transport request. It should not be the case. That's why asynchronous mode we have to choose it here, right? So here options, you can choose the options, whatever the options you want to use it, you can use it. Otherwise, you can ignore the options also. Then just click on the OK button. Then you can see the import is running, means your data is importing into the your target system. Data is importing into the your target system. Yes, it is imported successfully. It is imported. Why I am saying that? By seeing the color or by seeing the mouse over to this color, you can see written code 0. That is fine. If written code 0 or 4, so successfully imported, right? So if the written code 12, what will be the written code 8? Maybe we need to check with the transport owner only. Why? Because one or more objects are having some issues. We need to check with them. So if written code 12 means it's like some system issues only. What are those system issues here? If the written code 12 comes, so what we have to check from our side? Why? Because here written code 12 comes, we need to check from our side. So what things we have to check it out, that I will explain it. But before that, so you guys understand, right, how to create the transport request, how to add the objects, how to release it, how to import it. These are the sequence of steps are there here. So did you guys understand, or any questions from anyone? Got it? Maybe if you are getting confused on the TR creation, you can leave it TR transport request creation. It's not required you to create the transport request. So because slowly you will get the experience for the creation. For now, what you have to do, whenever you join the organization, normally every day, frequently we will get the request to import the transport request into the, if transport request into the your production systems, transport request into the your production systems or quality systems, that you have to perform it. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to go to the STMS transaction code, select the which system you want to import it. Suppose you want to import to the quality, then you have to select the quality system and you need to import it. So you have to import the production, then you need to select the production system and you need to import it, right? This way you have to do that one. So you have to go to the STMS is the transaction code, or select the import overview, then select the production, which system you want to import it, then select the transport request, click on the truck symbol, right? So which client you want to import it, suppose 200 client, then select it, then go back, then what are the options you want to choose it. If nothing is there in your organization, leave it. If something is there, you can ignore it. You don't want to import immediately, you want to schedule the timelines. Next 5 minutes it should be imported automatically, then you can choose the timings, you can choose it, right? Now you can see the import is scheduled, means in the next 4 minutes or 5 minutes the request is will be automatically, it will be imported automatically, it will be imported. You created the one job now, so that will be imported now in the system. See here, import is scheduled, it will not import immediately. After the 5 minutes it will start it. So that is you created, you choose that one, that is you created. That is the transport request scheduling, or if you want to import, you can import it. Here the things you need to remember is like, so what is the difference between the synchronous and asynchronous, right? Import options, you want to override, the originals and everything. So override the originals means that's request, the data already exists in the same table, you want to remove that data, you want to override the your source data, means you can put this override originals, right? So ignore, override, so all these things you can choose it, depends upon the which one you have to follow it, right? Here execution, import synchronous or asynchronous mode. Synchronous mode means here you can see clearly the process, one of the work process is blocked until import has ended. So it will be blocked, it will be holded until import has ended. Once it is finished, then it will be okay, it will block it until import has ended with the 0 or 4 or what 12, whatever it is taken the half an hour time, then half an hour time the work process is blocked, so it will not allocate to the other users, right? This is means when the import is started, the immediately the work process is released, then we can it will the work process will help to the other users or other requests, it will help it. But synchronous mode is the, so few people they will select the synchronous mode, right? Date and time. So if you want to select the immediate or date and time or after the event, you can choose it. Whatever you want, you can choose this one, right? You can choose this one. You can choose it. Whatever you want, you can choose it. You can choose it. This is the request creation, right? So without this configuration, you cannot do that one. The configuration is the very important here. The configuration is the very important configuration in the systems. That configuration is a very important configuration which we have to create it here, which we have to create it here. So again, I see jobs are failing. Again, the basis user is failing. The basis user is failing. So here the TR import job is released here, right? So that we created in the 1625, right? Here status is the 1624. You can see here. So in the next 1 minute or next 1 minute, so that will be imported now. The request will be imported automatically. Why? Because you created the TR, you schedule the TR to import it that particular time. So you created that one. So if you just click on the refresh button, that will be imported. That will be imported to the your respective systems. That will be imported. So that is the thing here. That is the option which we chosen here. 18:25:09. So here, what is the time? 18:25:01. Maybe in the 8 seconds. In 8 seconds, that will be imported. But delay, see here, delay is happening. Why? Because it's already, I think time is already done. So 8:25:09 it should start. So but now what is the time? 8:25:09 already done. So but still the request is not picked here. The request is not picked here. So delay is happening here. When the time limit is over, so then delay count is will start it here. So 11 seconds delay, 40 seconds 11 delay. So why the request is not picking here? Why it is not happening? So you have to check. Did anyone check that one? Why there is a delay is happening here in the systems? You can see the batch process three are free, right? So three are free. Why the request is not importing? Anyone checked that one? Still it is scheduled status only, right? So the request is not getting, but all the jobs are getting same. There is a much delay in all the jobs. See, lot of delay is happening. After some time, it is getting picked up.
If it is in synchronous, so it will get delay, I think so.
It's not synchronous, right? It is asynchronous only we selected, right? What about this TR? Okay, the TR you said like synchronous. What about this one? All these jobs. Why it is failing? Sometimes it is failing. Suppose failing because of this one. Why it is failing? Maybe user is in the different time zone. Which time zone user is in? So maybe what is the time zone? System time zone. Sometimes time zone issues also will occur here. See here time zone. Here, so system time zone. System time zone, there is no time. System time zone, our operating system time zone both are same. System time zone, our operating system time zone are both are same here. Yes, Pacific time zone. So something is wrong in the system. Something is wrong in the system. It's not like that other systems, but only in the here it is happening. In this system it is happening. Why? So try to fix it someone. Otherwise, I can also check this one. Okay. So this is about the TR, but still we have more to discuss about the transport request. Why? Because RC12 comes. What are the issues we may face? It. The TR is released, not released means what are the issues we may face it. So all these things we have to discuss. So tomorrow we'll complete the TR transport request, but tomorrow also we can create the groups. There is some groups, specific groups we have to create it that will come. So transport request groups, right? Multiple layers. Those and other things will come. So now basic configuration, basic transport movement, we are doing it here. Suppose when the transport, you have the multiple clients, when the transport request is released, it should move to the all the clients, should be added to the all the clients, right? How should be? That is what we discussed previously. We have tried, right? That configurations that has to discuss actually, and also TR release problems, TR import problems, the possible solutions, all these things will come. So don't miss for tomorrow's class. It's very important. We'll discuss all those things tomorrow. Okay. So today, the basic steps we have done it: transport request creation, release, import, normal. But if you have the multiple clients, then in this case, you are importing only one, you are releasing to the only one client, you are manually importing to the so whenever the request comes, it will add it to the all the clients. You should add it to the all the clients. But in our case, just a basic one, we have done it. Now try to do this one. Then tomorrow what we will do, we will create the groups, multiple, adding to the multiple request, then how to import it, how to disable it, then what are the issues we may face it TR case, that we will discuss, right? So that you can just practice it today, whatever that we discuss it today, then tomorrow we will do the remaining things. Okay.
Okay.